So now, so today we have gone through count. Look at the text count, count A, count blank. These are the three most important formula related to count. So count means to count any number of values in your data. So so what is the difference between the count? What is the difference between the count A and why we are using count blank? Then we go through count if s. So today we have covered some of the advanced Excel formulas for count functions. So is the screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Something. Wait a minute, I am facing some issues in my Excel sheet.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Sir, you are not audible.
Yes, sir.
अभी आवाज आ रही है? हेलो.
Yes, sir. अब आ रही है.
Actually, I have muted myself.
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
Okay. So count function just count only the numerical values in a particular column. So for example, if you count only the numerical values, how many numerical data in a particular column, you have to use the count formula. For example, just go through the column E, select the range, and just enter. So it will give you 23. Why? और अब अगर so अगर आप so I'm going to use count a formula. So you have clearly distinguished what is the difference between count a and count formula. So I'm going to use here count a formula. So what is count a? Up, okay. So this shows 23 and this will give 24 output, because if you go through the column E, 605 is a numerical value, 967 is a numerical value, but text is a text value, or you can say that it is a string value. So if you are using count formula, it will skip text column. It will skip the text value now it will now it will go, move down the 332 634 154. So count function basically count only the numerical values in a particular cell. So but when you are using count A, hello, please mute yourself.
पैडल मारो पैडल मारो पैडल मारो उतनी जाओ चलो
So Maitri, kindly mute yourself. So I'm requesting from the host to mute all participants who are unmute.
अभी बॉम्ब देंगे बॉम्ब अटकी गई
Okay. So now you have clearly distinguished between the formula count and count A. So count A basically count text as well as numerical value, whereas count formula only count the numerical value in a particular column or in a particular variable. So, but if you want to calculate how many blank column in any particular variable, for example, you can see that, for example, if you are going to filter, how many person have not filled any data. So or how many queries are left blank. So to calculate how many blanks in a particular column or in a particular cell, we use the formula count blank. We use the formula count blank. So you can see that there are two blank values.
या तो बाइक आपने उबाले हो या तू
So you can see that there are two count values in the column amount A. Which one is? Mean that someone has not paid any amount in the month of February, and also there is no amount in the month of February for new product, and this is for the old product. So basically what I am going to tell, what I have told to count only numerical values. We use count formula to count numerical as well as text value. We use count a function to count total number of blank entries. How many blank entries are in a particular column? We use the count blank formula. Okay, so now go through. This is the two of the important formula. Okay. Count by using if. For example, in a particular cell, or you are working in a retail industry or in any industry, and you have assigned a task that you have to count the total number of new products, or you are going to assign the task just find out total number of new customer in this particular month, or total number of new product, whatever the variable you have got, just count the total number of new customer in a particular month. So what we have to count? Here our query is to count total number of new product. In our product column, how many customers are new? For example, how many customers are new? Only new customers. So we use the formula count if. Count karna hai, now we have to count based on a condition. So we use range. Range means at what cell we have to, sorry. So range is basically the cell in which we are going to give our criteria. For example, we have to count total number of new customers. So here the range is our product. We have just select the cell. Okay. And what is your criteria? New. So since new is a string value or taken to the text value, so it is in double inverted comma. Just hit enter, and it will give you 20 new values, 20 new products. Also, if you have to count the old product, old products, if we have to count the old products. So just okay. So we use the count. We have to count the old product. We count if in which cell we are our criteria in is what cell. So our criteria is old and new. So we have to select the range based on the criteria. So our criteria is in basically the range is that particular column in which we have
या
some
तो बॉम्ब
criteria.
देखो यो चलो बोलो
So in which we have some criteria. So for basically range is criteria range. So just select the cell. Now we have what is our criteria? We have to calculate old. So there are 6 old products. There are 6 old products. So there are 20 new products or 20 new customers, and there are 6 old products. So here we are counting based on some criteria. But one thing we can look at, we are so in counting formula we use only a single criteria. So if you go through the counting formula, there is only one criteria. I think this formula is visible to everyone. So if you have only one criteria, you have to use the count if formula. But what but what in case if you have multiple criteria? For example, ये total number of amount, या total number of customer, या total number of amount that is greater than 300 but less than or equal to 500, or whatever your criteria. So how many new customers are in January month, or how many new customers who are going to pay amount of more than 500. So whatever. So when you have a multiple criteria, more than one criteria, and you have to count based on multiple criteria, we have to use countif function. Count. So countif function provides us flexibility to count based on multiple criteria. Here you can see that you can choose n number of criteria. One criteria, two criteria, three. Mother you have, so countif functions provides the flexibility of using n numbers of criteria. So if you have a single criteria, then use countif. But if you have a multiple criteria, then use count if s. So what is your criteria range one? So we have to calculate greater than 300. Criteria range one हो गया. Criteria we always use greater than sign or less than sign in double inverted comma. Greater than 300, which is criteria one, and the next criteria is also related to the amount, and the amount is less than equal to 500. So then again select the same range, comma, criteria is less than equal to 500. So how many customers are in between the amount greater than 300 and less than equal to 500? Close inverted comma, close the bracket, hit enter key. So there are only 4 customers which paid amount which is greater than 500 or less than equal to greater than 300 and less than equal to 5,000. So if you are working in a, so, or you can say that you are working as a HR partner and your manager told you that, so how many persons joined in the month of January or February, and whose salary is greater than 1 lakh rupees. ठीक है. So if, or you can say that कि you can yeah, you have to prepare some retail. So suppose that you have a 4 retail uh, sales master, a salesperson. So you can say that कि in the last how many how many salesperson in a particular month have sale a product of greater than 10,000 or greater than whatever your quantity. So this formula is benefited in that type of criteria. So if you have a multiple criteria, so if you have to count based on multiple criteria, we use COUNTIF as formula. Now we can take some another criteria. Total number of count amount in as a new product and greater than, suppose I am creating a criteria greater than 500, new product and greater than 500. Okay. Okay, so when we are going to take COUNTIF as, so criteria one is, for example, new product. So our range is new is in column D or variable product. Where what is our criteria? Our criteria is new. Our second criteria is amount greater than 500. So we are amount is greater than 500. Okay. So there are 11 customers. Yeah, or you can say that there is 11 new product whose amount is greater than 500. So I think you have the clarity when to use count, when we are going to use count a, count blank, count if as. So we add one more criteria here. How many month? January, February, March. So add one more criteria. 500, we are taking 500. We are in the month of January. Okay. So by using count if as, we can take n number of criteria. So our first criteria is as a new product. So we just select the cell D, type new, first criteria. Our second criteria is amount is greater than 500. So we take the range of amount cell. Take what is our criteria greater than 500 and our okay. And what is our third criteria? January month, in the Jan month. So just January. Suppose so okay, in the January month, there are 4 new products whose amount is greater than 500. So I think you all have the clarity. Okay, so COUNTIF is frequently used, and also COUNTIF function is also play a critical role. We are going to prepare a dashboard. I think you all have the clarity of dashboard. So dashboard is basically a single page summary of your company profile. So if you are this is an advanced Excel topic. So if you for example, you have assigned a task to prepare a single page summary, or basically called a dashboard. So we use COUNTIF as function. That is a critical function in preparing the dashboard. So anyone have doubt in this 5 formula? Count a, count blank, count if as. So kindly ask. So if you have any doubt related to these 4-5 formulas, kindly ask. Any query? Anyone have any query? So please unmute. Otherwise किसी को कुछ नहीं समझ आएगा.
Sir, like we always have to put it in the double inverted commas whenever we are putting a command. Like,
नहीं. No. So we use double inverted comma in only two conditions. first, when you are going to type a text values, for example, new is a text
हाँ
value.
हाँ
So text value is always in a double inverted comma.
okay
So if you are working on Python, you are working on SQL, you are working on Power BI, sorry, Power BI. So always, so this is a common criteria for all the data analysis software.
हम्म
A string is always in a inverted comma. So, but in Python, we can put a string in single inverted comma or double inverted comma. We also put text values in triple inverted comma in Python or some other programming languages. So that is different criteria. But string value is always in a inverted comma. In Excel, string values or text value, we can say that always in a double inverted comma.
अच्छा
ठीक है, in
हाँ
first case. And the second case is that when you are using a greater than sign, less than sign, greater than equal to sign, less than equal to sign. So in this particular case, we use less than sign, greater than sign in a double inverted comma.
अच्छा
Okay, in any other question?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
So, just suppose if we have 5 individuals and their age at onset of hypertension and diabetes is given. So, if I want to count the number of individuals who first acquired hypertension, then diabetes, and also count the number of individuals who first acquired diabetes and then hypertension, which means where age of hypertension will be less than age of onset of diabetes. So how do we go through this?
Okay. So for so to calculate how many persons are hypertensive as well as diabetic. Okay, है ना?
No,
This,
how many people first acquired hypertension and then diabetes?
so in this particular case, you have the data of that type also. Okay, you have the hierarchy of that type of particular data. For example, cell one. Okay, this person contain only at the age of 24, he has only hypertension. At the age of 26, he has hypertension as well as diabetic. Okay, so you have that type of data. In that particular case, you can use a pivot table or you can use a
No,
somehow.
no, sir. So can you just put, like, just for 5 individuals, can you just put the data and show if possible?
नहीं नहीं, so देखो, any formula or I cannot create a hypothetical data
No,
to
like for
नहीं नहीं,
example, if a person had hypertension at the age of
मैं समझ
45 and
मैं सम,
diabetes at the age of 48.
मैं
So like
समझ
this,
गया.
so how do we
ठीक है,
count this?
hypertension at the age of 40 or diabetic at the age of 45 for example. ठीक है, so देखो, this is so this is not the part of basic analysis. In this we have to use some a formula or basically you have to use the pivot table and you have to
So
plus.
that I know that will happen when we will already, like you have written,
Okay.
hypertension and diabetes will be in column and individuals will be in row. So 5 individuals
Okay.
having
So
data.
so I request कौन बोल रहा है? So I request Simran. So kindly share the data first, then I will look into the data and will explain you how to solve this query. So now first provide me the data, then I
How
go
do I
to,
show you the data, sir?
if just go to your teacher or जो भी host है. So you just mail or the, I think the Excel sheet that I have shared with you all also contain my contact number. So kindly share the data, then I go through the data that only will explain which formula is what.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, in any
Sir, I had a doubt, a basic one.
uh,
Sir, if like
so
we have
re-
used
so so
January,
so you have the
January here,
हाँ
hello.
जी जी बताइए बताइए.
But if we have any spelling error or any
नहीं
like if we have written in capital,
नहीं so
so it won't take it.
ना Excel is case sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Excel is case sensitive. Even Python is case sensitive. So अगर if I have typed January J capital, then you have to J capital. Otherwise, if you have typed J in a small letter, you have in formula we have used the same text. So Excel is case sensitive. So मतलब we have to write exact whatever the text value, whether it is wrong. Suppose that in our data I have someone is wrote January Janary. They have missed you. And in formula, you have go through, okay, so there is a wrong spelling in January, and in formula, you use correct spelling of January. The formula is not going to work. So Excel is a case sensitive language.
Also, okay, like OLD, if we have written in capital, then also it won't take.
अब suppose that, for example, I think हमने suppose that यहाँ पर new calculate किया था, new कहाँ गया? हाँ, so total number of new product 20. I am going to just
Yes.
change new as new.
Mm-hmm.
अच्छा नहीं, so Excel is not a case sensitive language.
Okay.
But spelling should be same.
But spelling, yes, yes.
हाँ,
Okay.
अगर हम फिर डालें new, okay, हाँ, so it's not a case sensitive. Python is a case sensitive, but spelling should be your same. So January may you can use
Okay.
J capital or small, but your spelling should be same.
Okay. Sir, as in also JAN also it has to come. If we someone has written only JAN, because
Okay.
while data entry, someone might put something, someone might put something.
So let's check. Count if हमें suppose that I have taken only data. This only data January. ठीक है, हाँ, it will work. So it is not a case sensitive, but your spelling should be same. But Python is a case sensitive language.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I am moving forward. As per our so at the end of the session we will take more queries. So now we have gone through count A, count black, count if s. Okay, just go through the sum if and sum if s. So which is somehow similar to count if and count if s. But what is the difference? In count if we are just only counting the values, and it's in sum if we are not counting, we are adding something. Make it as a general. ठीक है. Filter. Wait a minute. ठीक है. So so you have the idea of what is count if s. So in count, as the formula suggests, when you have only count, we use count if s based on some condition, but you have to add something. Suppose that I'm going to create some random values. Take value between 50 to 100. So suppose that you are working in a retail industry or you are working in a school and you have the idea. So for example, just take a case of profit and loss. Suppose that you are working as a salesperson or you are working as a manager, and you have to find out what is your loss amount. Bus. So you have to find out what is your loss amount. For example, this is the Jan month data, for example. Okay. So now you have to calculate the total loss amount in January month. So now here we are adding amount, total loss amount. Loss means negative. So loss is always in a negative. So just since we have to total, we have to do the total, we use the sum. And since it is based on a criteria, we have to calculate the total loss amount. So we use sum if. So what is your range? Your range is loss amount cell, comma. What is your criteria? Criteria is so just take another criteria. What you suppose that you have to find out. I'm going to give you another example so that you will easily understand. Okay. You have to take some. Okay, got it. So now we have to calculate total number of loss values. So since we have to calculate loss, we have to do sum, and based on the criteria that on and our we have only one criteria, we use the sum if values. So our select the cell range, and what is your criteria? So you are going to calculate the loss. So loss is always less than 0. Loss is always in negative. Okay. So just select the criteria range, and you also have to select the sum range. For example, so in this case, our sum range means ki to what cell we are or okay, we can say that ki in which particular cell we are going to add some value. So in this case, we are calculating the loss amount. So loss amount is in the criteria range cell. So just select the range and hit the stop yes, and just hit the enter. So you have total of 249, 240. You are in a 249 rupees loss in January month. Just select the negative values, and now you can see that you have some 249. So you are losing 249 rupees in January month. So I'm going to repeat once. So I'm just going to repeat.
Please zoom the data, sir. Please zoom the data, sir.
अच्छा मैं करता हूँ. So देखो, this is a little bit tricky. Not you have to practice some if. So basically, just go through the formula. What is the formula? So in COUNTIF, we take only two values, range and criteria. It will take only two of the arguments, only range and criteria. But in SUMIF, we have three arguments. What is our range? What is our criteria range? And what is our sum range? So in this case, we have to calculate the loss amount. So our sum range is loss amount cell. So you have to select the criteria range. What is the criteria range? So criteria is we have to calculate the loss, so less than 0, and loss of what cell? So loss value is given in which particular cell? So it is given in column H. Just close the bracket and hit the enter. So you are in a 249 rupees loss. So this is the same example.
Sir, we are selecting the range 2 times.
Yes.
Sir, why 2 times?
Okay, just okay, ठीक है. So see it carefully. In count formula, we have only two arguments. What is our range and what is our criteria? Got it? No doubt. But in sum if formula, so it is little bit tricky. Since instead of only two criteria, range and criteria simply means कि इसमें जो सम रेंज होता है, जिस सेल को हमें जोड़ना है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल in our case we have to add the loss amount, and loss amount, so just go through. Loss amount is in the same cell, column number H, and our criteria is in the same cell. So we have used two times. So here you have to use the two times range values. But in count formula, we have to take only one times range criteria or range value. ठीक है, जस्ट आई एम गोइंग टू गिव एन एग्जांपल सो इट विल प्रोवाइड यू मोर क्लैरिटी. सम इफ हो गया. अब सपोज दैट यू हैव टू यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट, फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट इसका जस्ट नेम, इसका डाल दो, सपोज दैट इसका नाम डाल दो वैल्यू, और इसका जस्ट चेंज द नेम इज नेगेटिव वैल्यूज. ठीक है, गो थ्रू. So now you have to calculate the sum of only negative values. ठीक है. So our criteria range is this. So this is the criteria range. What is our criteria? We have to calculate the less than negative values. And if you want to calculate the amount of negative values, so here our sum is amount, and just enter. So it will give the sum of only negative values. You can now clearly see that. So so you have to practice this formula. Suppose that you have just filtered out the negative values, enter, and just use the sum. ठीक है, ये ऐसे काम नहीं करेगा. It is going to walk like that. Paste special sum. ठीक है. So देखो 26,250 rupees, which is exactly similar as 26,500 and 26,250 rupees. So this is a little tricky. You, in this case, you have to use range two times. One is sum range, जिस पर्टिकुलर इंडिकेटर्स को हमें जोड़ना है, एंड आवर क्राइटेरिया रेंज किस किस क्राइटेरिया पे करना है. In case of count, we just only have to count कि कितने, how many new product, how many old product, how many are in the January month. But here we are not only counting, we are adding something. So if you want to add only negative values, तो पहले हमें निगेटिव वाला रेंज लेना होगा, और निगेटिव वैल्यू किस में जोड़ना है. सो हमें निगेटिव वैल्यूज का अमाउंट जोड़ना है, इसलिए दैट्स वाई वी हैव टेक द अमाउंट सेल ऑल्सो. ठीक है, गॉट इट? Any doubt? Any doubt you can ask.
So
Sir,
without
this-
pasting it in another on another cells, why is it not working? Like the sum, it gave the sum of all those numbers, right? Before you pasted it. Yeah, why was it like that? Most of the time it happens to us as well.
So देखो एक्चुअली क्या होता है. So actually it happens कि when we are using, so you are comfortable in Hindi? हेलो.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
ठीक है. So एक्चुअली क्या होता है, ये जो फॉर्मूला होता है, उसे नहीं पता कि आपने फिल्टर किया है कि फिल्टर नहीं किया है. ठीक है, ये इतना इंटेलिजेंट नहीं होता है. सो जैसे आप सम यूज करोगे, तो सपोज दैट कि हमने, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हमने यहाँ सिर्फ निगेटिव वैल्यूज लिया. हमारा सेल कहाँ से कहाँ तक है? हमारा सेल है 4 से 13 तक. ठीक है, बट अगर हम इसको हम फिल्टर आउट करेंगे, तो इसको नहीं पता कि हम केवल फिल्टर वैल्यू पे काम करना चाहते हैं. ये जब हम सेलेक्ट करते हैं, तो ये पूरी रेंज लेता है. आप यहाँ पर देखो 6 to 11 तक ले रहा है. ठीक है, जो भी हमारा था, ये पूरे पे ले रहा है, इसीलिए ये पूरे पे सम देगा. इसको नहीं पता है कि आपको जो वैल्यू चाहिए वो केवल पर्टिकुलर सेल का चाहिए. ठीक है, इसी वजह से वो पहले हमें पर्टिकुलर डेटा को कॉपी करके पेस्ट करना पड़ता है और फिर हम उसको सम करते हैं. यू हैव टू डू दिस लाइक दैट. हाँ,
Okay.
लेकिन कॉपी पेस्ट अगर करना है सो समटाइम्स एक्सेल इज इंटेलिजेंट इनफ कि वो जान जाता है कि जो फिल्टर्ड आउट सेल हैं हम केवल उन्हीं को कॉपी करना चाहते हैं. एक्सेल इस मामले में इंटेलिजेंट है कि वो समझ जाता है कि अगर हमने कोई फिल्टर किया है और हम इसको अगर कॉपी करते हैं तो देखोगे कि यहाँ पर ब्रेक ब्रेक लाइंस आ रही हैं. ये लाइन ब्रेक ब्रेक यही बताती हैं कि वी हैव कॉपी सेल्स नॉट इन अ सीक्वेंस मैनर, नॉट इन अ सीक्वेंशियल मैनर. 56 किसी 56 6 नंबर पर है, 99 इज इन 8 नंबर एंड 11 इज इन डिफरेंट सेल. सो बट वी आर बट व्हेन यू आर कॉपी, देखो, बट अगर आप जब कॉपी करते हो लगातार कंटिन्यूअसली, सो इसमें लाइन कहीं ब्रेक ब्रेक नहीं है. ये पूरे पे जब पूरा सेलेक्ट हो गया तब लाइन ब्रेक है. लेकिन जब जब हम फिल्टर करके कॉपी करते हैं तो हर एक सेल के बीच में ब्रेक ब्रेक आता है. वो ये बता रहा है कि आप जो कॉपी कर रहे हो वो वो दैट वैल्यूज आर इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट सेल्स. ओके, गॉट इट. एनी वन मोर क्वेश्चन.
Hello, sir.
हाँ हाँ
Sir, could you please give some other example also for this sum if?
हाँ, बिल्कुल दे सकते हैं.
हाँ
सपोज
सर
दैट
जी
कि अ, ठीक है, एक स्टूडेंट डेटा क्रिएट करते हैं. ठीक है, टोटल फीस फॉर एग्जांपल, टोटल फी हमने कैलकुलेट किया. टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ टोटल फी. सपोज दैट फी इज बिटवीन 50 to 100 रुपीज. 50 to 100 रुपीज. ठीक है. एंड स्टूडेंट, दे दो. स्टूडेंट, सपोज दैट ए, बी, or you can let us fail and pass. For example, fail and pass. Pass. Whatever the criteria you want to take, you can take. So now you have to sum total fees of only fail students. और suppose that इसको लो क्लास फर्स्ट में है ये फर्स्ट में, सेकंड में, सेकंड में, फर्स्ट में, फर्स्ट में, सेकंड में. So now you have to add the total fees of class 1 students only. So what is our range? Sum. को ऐसे ले लो तो दोनों न्यूमेरिकल हो जाएगा. So class class first, class 1, class 2, class 1. So now you have to calculate the total fees of class 1 student and class 2 student. ठीक है. So what is your range? So class 1 and class 2 are students, so we have take the range. ठीक है, we have to calculate the range. Got it. What is our criteria? Our criteria is class 1 student. Got it. Up what you have to do the sum. Now we have to calculate the total fees. So that's why we have take the range of total fee cell. So our range is this. हमें फीस किसकी कैलकुलेट करनी है? क्लास 1 की फीस कैलकुलेट करनी है. तो फीस किस किस कॉलम में दिया हुआ है और किस वेरिएबल में दिया है. सो विच इज टोटल फीस. बंद कर दो. सो 211 रुपये है इज द फीस ऑफ क्लास 1 स्टूडेंट. आई थिंक यू हैव द क्लैरिटी नाउ. वाई वी हैव टेक द, अब देखोगे. सो टोटल फीस ऑफ क्लास 1 स्टूडेंट इज And there is also a shortcut to calculate the to use the sum formula alt equal to. So 211 रुपए. So now you have the clarity, Dr. Juhi, कि why we use. So why we use total fee or why we use negative values and why we use amount values.
सर
हाँ.
ये तो समझ गया। अभी आपने एक ऐसे बैंडविड्थ का कुछ लगाया था ना फॉर्मूला, वो क्या है एक बार दिखाओगे क्या प्लीज?
So that is not bandwidth, that is random values. So if you have to create the random values between some particular cell, for example, you have to create a random values between 50 to 100. So this is the formula to create a random values between
Okay.
some lower and higher values.
Okay, thank
Sir,
you.
how
Okay.
to freeze the random value, sir? Yeah, keep on changing.
So this is a very basic question, important question. Just so, for example, I have take a range between suppose that 100 to 200. It will keep changing. So to make it static, just control copy and paste it at values. So you just remove you have just removed the formula. Just copy that particular cell and paste it at values. So now it is static. Now the value is fixed and it is not going to change anymore. So we are moving forward. The question है, ठीक है. So now we have a single criteria. We have to calculate the amount of only negative values. ठीक है. Now what we have multiple criteria. So we use sum if s. So we want to calculate the total negative amount of Canada region. Total negative amount of Canada region. Which is only एक और क्राइटेरिया लेते हैं यहाँ पर. नाउ वी हैव टू क्राइटेरिया इंसर्ट. यहाँ प्रोडक्ट भी डाल दो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव टू टेक प्रोडक्ट न्यू ओल्ड. Just take in the formula sum if s. So now here we can use n number of criteria. So what is our criteria? So अब देखो. So now see the difference between what is sum if and sum if s. See the formula carefully. So when you are using the sum if, we have to give some range at the end of the formula. But if you are using sum if s, you have to give the sum range. Initially you have to provide the sum range. So we have to calculate the amount. Okay, I am going to calculate the amount. And what is our criteria? First criteria range. This, what is our criteria? Less than 0. What is our criteria 2? For example, I'm going to take here only new, or I'm going to make one more criteria of Canada only. So you can take multiple criteria. कोई नहीं है. तो कनाडा में हम निगेटिव बनाते हैं तो इट विल गिव द वैल्यूज. So it will provide values. So what this formula is giving the result? First of all, less than 0, your value should be 0. Product is new and region is Canada. So when you have to sum the values and you have a multiple criteria, we use sum if s formula. we use sum if as formula. But if you have only one criteria, then you use sum if formula. I think you have the clarity between count if as, sum if and sum if as. ठीक
सर
है.
सर ये सम इफ एस का एक बार वापस बताओगे प्लीज?
सिंपल सम if as में क्या रहता है कि when we are using the sum if formula, so there is a difference between sum if and sum if as. So when we are using the sum if, we have to give sum range at the लास्ट में हमें सम रेंज देना है. बट व्हेन वी आर यूजिंग सम इफ एस, वी हैव टू गिव द सम रेंज कि हम किस क्राइटेरिया को अल्टीमेटली जोड़ना चाहते हैं. हमारा रीजन कनाडा होगा, आवर प्रोडक्ट इज न्यू, बट क्या हमें अमाउंट चाहिए, रीजन कनाडा हो, आवर प्रोडक्ट इज न्यू एंड वैल्यू इज निगेटिव. आई एम टेकिंग वन एग्जांपल और यू कैन रिमूव दिस निगेटिव. सपोज दैट हमें चाहिए कि आवर प्रोडक्ट इज न्यू, रीजन इज कनाडा, तो हमारे अमाउंट क्या होगा. तो in this case, we have to provide this amount range at an initial stage. Okay, comma. What is the criteria range? So first criteria range is new. Our second criteria range is new but Canada for only. यहाँ कैलकुलेट कर लेते हैं मेरे से. ठीक है, सम रेंज इज और अमाउंट. ग्रेट. Our first criteria is new. Okay. Okay. So our criteria range, we have to give the criteria range and just provide new. And our second criteria range is this. And what is our criteria? Our criteria is Canada. CANADA. Okay. So now you can see that. Okay. So new and for Canada region only. You can see for new and our Canada region, the sum value is 24919. So when you have the multiple criteria and so based on multiple criteria, you have to add a single value. Then we use the sum if as formula, but when you have the single criteria, you can use sum if only. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. What is our next agenda? So I'm going to homework for you all. I am going to share this sheet with the host, and now you have to do practice average if and average if s by yourself. It is same as sum if s, but in case of sum if s, we are doing sum, and in case of average if s, we are doing average. So this is a slight difference between sum if s and average if s. In case of average if, we are averaging, and in case of sum if, we are doing sum. So now the most important formula, we
Sir,
look up.
we get the practice sheets. Where we get it?
I think I have shared the practice sheet with the host, and host will share to you practice sheet. I have already shared the practice sheet for day 1 and day 2 with host. I think you all have got the practice sheet. And if you do not have the practice sheet, kindly contact to your host or your college teacher. I have already shared the practice sheet for day 1, day 2, PPT, and also agenda for our 5-day classes. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir. We have got emails in
great.
which we have got the practice sheets.
Okay. So by the end of or tomorrow morning, you also have the practice sheet for day 3. So use VLOOKUP formula, which is very, very important. Very, very important formula. And very, very simple. very very important and very very simple. ठीक है, just see the formula carefully. Just read the formula. First read the formula. ठीक है. Formula. So it will take few of the arguments. Our first argument is lookup value. So what is lookup value? The value we want to look. The value we want to look. What is table array? The table, the lookup value table. The lookup value is given in which table? Or you can say that lookup value is a unique key. Or it is, you can also say that lookup value is a unique value or unique key. So this lookup value is a unique key and always at the first column in a particular table. So lookup value is our unique key, and we have to find this lookup value to a table array. Got it? Then you have to find the which value you want to find from that particular array, or range is optional. So we are hardly use the range. ठीक है. So there are three compulsory argument. First is lookup value. हमें किस value को देखना है, हमें कौन सा value चाहिए. This is also called as a unique value. This is unique. किस टेबल से देखना है, ओके. और जिस टेबल से देखना है, वी हैव टू फाइंड उस टेबल की कौन सी वैल्यू हमको चाहिए. अभी इतना ही. ठीक है. जस्ट गो टू द डेटा. ठीक है. यू हैव मोर क्लैरिटी ऑन दैट. ठीक है. बिल्कुल सी द केयरफुली. Suppose that you have two tables. This is table 1. This is table 1. ठीक है. This is our table 2. So this table can be in a same sheet. This tables can be in a different sheet. This table can be in a different worksheet also, or you can say that workbook also. So for currently I am taking these two tables in the same sheet, but you are facing that many of the times, I think 95% of times, these two tables are always in a different worksheet or in a different workbook. ठीक है. So this is our table. Suppose that this is our table 1. This is our table 2. Take, got it. Our first criteria is lookup value, also called as unique value, and unique value should always at the first column of the table. ठीक है. You can see that table 2, our unique value order ID is at the first column. Got it. In table 2, and in table 1, our unique order value is at the first column. So this is the basic criteria. Otherwise VLOOKUP will not going to work. VLOOKUP do not other. So if you want to use VLOOKUP, so this is our first important criteria. Our unique value should be at the first column of the tables. So we have satisfied our first criteria, lookup value. Order ID भी column 1 पर है. यहाँ पर भी our unique ID order ID भी column 1 पर है. पहला criteria. ठीक है. So now we have to find the order ID. ठीक है. Order ID. So when we are using VLOOKUP, ठीक है. So we are using VLOOKUP in case when we have a unique key, but we are not going to, and based on unique key, we have to find some another value. For example, we have to find what is the total sale for order ID 113. ठीक है. So based on unique key, we want to fetch some another values. Okay, so this is called a column index number. मतलब यूनिक की के बेसिस पे हमें कौन सा डेटा चाहिए, दैट इज कॉल्ड कॉलम इंडेक्स नंबर. ठीक. सो पहला क्राइटेरिया और फर्स्ट क्राइटेरिया यूनिक की शुड बी एट द फर्स्ट फर्स्ट कॉलम. पहला क्राइटेरिया. दूसरा क्राइटेरिया टेबल एरे, वी हैव टू सेलेक्ट द टेबल एरे. एंड टेबल एरे का कौन सा वैल्यू हमको चाहिए, है ना, विच वैल्यू वी वांट टू फेच ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर टेबल. हमें टोटल सेल चाहिए, हमें नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर चाहिए. नाउ वी हैव टू फाइंड द रीजन और वी हैव टू फाइंड द प्रोडक्ट. ठीक है. सो लुकअप वैल्यू एंड ऑलवेज सेलेक्ट द इंटायर टेबल. ठीक है. ऑलवेज सेलेक्ट द इंटायर टेबल. पहला. जस्ट fix the table. Always do this. Just fix the table. So write these steps. What is lookup value? What is table array? Always fix the table. So to fix the table, we use the dollar sign at in front of raw number and in front of column. Dollar sign. ठीक है. You have to put dollar sign in front of row as well as in front of column. So to insert dollar values in front of row and in front of column, there is a shortcut key which is F4. Either in some cases only F4 is going to work, or in some cases you have to use function and F4 key together. ठीक है. I'm go our table array. फिर column index में हमें क्या चाहिए इस टेबल से, व्हाट वैल्यू वी वांट टू फेच फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर टेबल. सो इन आवर केस वी वांट टोटल सेल्स. सो टोटल सेल्स हमारा किस, वी हैव टू फाउंड द कॉलम इंडेक्स नंबर. सो कॉलम 1 इज ऑलवेज यूनिक आईडी, कॉलम 2, कॉलम 3, कॉलम 4 एंड आवर टोटल सेल्स इज इन कॉलम 5. 5 कॉमा 0 ऑलवेज यूज फॉल्स और 0 in 95% of cases. ठीक है. अरे so our lookup value lookup table comma 5 comma 0. ठीक है. So for order ID 113 the total sales is 1512. ठीक है. Just drag the formula till order ID 1121. So for order ID 1121 the total sale is 10,747. So anyone have any doubt in VLOOKUP formula? So this is a very important formula. So if you have any doubt, ask. Please ask.
So could you repeat the values you entered?
Okay. So are you comfortable in it?
Yes, sir, comfortable.
Anthony, sorry, but if you could talk in English because I'm coming from Mozambique, so I can't get it. The only language that's favorable for me is English.
Okay, so I'm going to use first I'm explaining in Hindi, then I will explain in English. Okay. Studies.
Okay, sir.
Okay. ठीक है.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So just first of all read the formula. What is the requirement of formula? So if you understand this thing, what is the requirement of a formula, then you have to not mug up the infinite number of formulas, or you do not have to practice the infinite number of formulas. Just try to read the formula. What is the basic requirement of that particular formula? Just go through. So it wants first lookup value. Just hold a minute. So our lookup value is unique key in our both the tables. So we lookup will fetch value from another table, but the basic requirement is our lookup value is also called as a unique value. Okay, so our unique value is available in both the tables. Okay, and unique value should be at the first column. Just in this case, order ID is at first column. Here in order ID is first column. In table one in table one order ID is the column first column, and in table two order ID is at the first column. So this is column one, this is column two for this particular table. So this is column one, column two, column three, column four, column five for this particular table. Okay. So our lookup value is this. Okay. Now we have to find the lookup value from which table. So select the table array here. After selecting the table array, always fix the table. Always fix the table. So to fix the table, we are now using the shortcut key, which is F4. So in some systems, it will F4 directly work, or either you have to use function key with F4. So in my laptop, it will work with function key. So always fix the table. Got it? And we have to find the total, and we have to find the total sales. So total sales is at column index number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So use column index 5. Okay, great. Then always we use either false or 0. You can either write false or you can either write 0. It will work same. Close the bracket and hit the enter. It will fetch the particular value based on order ID for you. Okay, I think you have the clarity.
Sir, while giving table array, we can add with labels also, or just the data itself?
It depends upon you. You can either provide the heading or you can just select the table range also. So, okay, so go through the formula. Just read the formula. So formula wants the column index number. It is not wanting the name of the particular column. Okay, so it is not wanting what is the name of particular column. The requirement of formula is to column index number. So for example, in this case, I have selected the entire table. Okay, but we can also, which is lookup value, comma, we can also select like this. Just fix the table, column 5, comma 0. Hit the enter. Okay. It will provide the same value. I think you have the clarity. I think you have the clear. So anyone have one more doubt? Nikita, so you have any doubt? Dr. Sonali.
Yes,
I
sir.
have one
Sir,
doubt.
sir, you told that these two tables might be in different worksheets or different workbooks. Then how we are going to select this table and fix this table?
Okay, ठीक है. और Dr. Sonali, so
Yes.
I think your question this is. ठीक है. So for example, I'm going to open a new Excel sheet. Just copy the value and paste in a different worksheet. ठीक है. Done. The procedure is same. Our lookup value, comma. Now, in previous case, our lookup table is in the same sheet. Now, just open that particular workbook or worksheet. Select the range. Provide the column number 0 and
5 and 0. Yes.
Great. So just you have to select the cell table range, either it in same sheet, same workbook, different, same sheet, different sheet, or in a different workbook. You just copy that particular table, provide the column index number, write 0 and hit enter key. Okay, any questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So should we always only write false or 0?
No. So I think you have 99, so 95 or 96% of cases. So go through the formula. So if you want the approximate value, okay, if you want to approximate value, you can use 1 or true. But if you want the exact value, कि जो value हमारा stable में हो, हमको वही value चाहिए, तो we use false. So 99% the cases or 95-96% of cases we have to want the exact value.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
So, can you give me an example of approximate value finding? Like most of the time we use exact values only, but what are those conditions where we can get the approximate value correctly?
For example, this is 111, okay, and I'm going a rough example, and this is also 111. So here are two ideas, same number. So in this case, you have to use the exact false value. So सबसे पहले the value which comes first, it will provide the total sales of that particular value. So in like that case, or basically in case of range values, 0 to 10. So I'm basically using false value in case of age. When we are going to we have to look a value of range between 1 to 10. ठीक है, 1 से 10 के बीच में हो जाए, in between 10 to 20. So in this, so this is for few of the example in which we are using the false values. Any other question? So basically, you can use the false in case of range values or age number. Any other question?
सर जैसे ऑर्डर आईडी से हमने टोटल सेल्स निकाल ली, मतलब 113 से हमने टोटल सेल्स निकाली है, उसी अकॉर्डिंग जैसे अभी हमें ऑर्डर आईडी कोई लुकअप वैल्यू मान के अपनी रीजंस और प्रोडक्ट भी निकालना है, तो उसके मतलब एक ही फॉर्मूला होता है कि या फिर अलग अलग ही निकालना होगा?
नहीं, ऐसे करो. सपोज दैट यू हैव टू फाइंड द रीजन. ठीक है, जस्ट ऐड रीजन हियर. Same formula, we look up. So look up value, select the table, just fix the table, and our column
आवाज सामने आ रहा
and
आवाज
reason
चालू कर तो बोलो.
and reason
आवाज चालू कर.
and reason is in column 3, 1 2 3. So just type 3, 0 and hit enter key. ठीक है. So 113 ID is in region west. So whatever the index value you provided, for example 5 4 3 2, whatever the index value you are type here, it will provide the result according to index value. Just last question.
Sir, in big data, it is not easy to count column numbers. So how we can do? Sort.
We can count. We can count. अगर वो Excel की range में आ रहा है, then we can count by using the same formula. Count it. It will work. So I think thank you everyone. You have a clarity of count, count A, count blank, count if S, sum if S, average if S, and we look up value.